Hi guys, this is Emmy from The Bridge Coaching and we're back with video number 2. In the last one, if you haven't seen it, we talked about the need for certainty, safety and comfort, which is a really primal core human need for a lot of people, including myself. And that is certainly one of my drivers. So I shared in the last video how I actually base a lot of life decisions around that, which doesn't mean that I don't need variety, and it's probably the same for you. So variety is kind of the seesaw balance between certainty and variety. So we all need variety. Even someone who has a really high need to know, a really high need for certainty, if they knew what was going to happen and what they were going to eat and what was going to happen for the rest of their life, they would get really bored and they start to ask themselves things like, what's the point? What's the purpose? I don't get it, da da da. So if we have too much certainty, we can never have too much certainty in our own ability to handle things. I think that's a very good thing to have certainty around. But if we know every little part of our lives, we're going to get really bored, right? So one thing that counterbalances that is variety, adventure, and uncertainty. And you can imagine with the work that I do, working with people in transitions, either between countries or careers or something else, when we transition, we get a lot of variety. Sometimes a lot more than some of us have bargained for, and things don't really pan out the way we thought, or we made all these great plans, or we were just going to go and see what happened. But variety is that little part of us who just wants to go and have fun and test it out. So someone, and I talked about it before, there's a resourceful and unresourceful side of all of these needs that we're going to talk about in this video series. So the unresourceful side of variety are people who you probably have some of them in your life or have met them at work or somewhere else. People who connect over things like drama, like they create drama just because, it's too predictable. Some people, for example, you might see someone is in a relationship for a really long time. It's really predictable. They've got the house and the children and all that stuff and everything is ticking along. But all of a sudden you find out that there's been cheating or infidelity or something else in that relationship, which is not what they originally signed up for or wanted, but one or both people in the relationship might have had so much certainty that they created a drama style event or a fight or something like that just to get some variety, because it's all very sameness. And this is a problem, I think, with many societies around the world culturally. It's that a lot about life in some communities and societies is about arriving at the different levels. And for some people, that means that they feel totally plateaued and locked in. And that's when they do things like, I'm going to go buy a sports car, or I'm going to take off in a camper van for a year, or something like that. And that's a really strong, extreme way of getting variety. So if you have a higher need for variety, it doesn't mean that you need to become a constant backpacker or traveler. If you like that and if that's your lifestyle, good for you, go do that and go create that. But there are many other ways to get variety. For example, you can work on different types of projects. So you can have a career type where you actually go into different offices on a regular basis, or where you do different styles of work. Or you might create a life as an entrepreneur where you have many different income streams that are quite different to each other. So a really resourceful way of going about this, rather than creating drama and problems and infidelity or experimenting with drugs or anything like that, which might not be sustainable. I'm not going to go into them, but if you think about non-sustainable behaviors that won't last you for a very long time, think about things that would. How can you introduce variety? How can how can couples go for date nights? Maybe date nights, it's a bit of a routine. A routine is really a need to get a way to get the need for certainty met, to have healthy routines that you do throughout your week. But if you have a need for variety, have routines that invite variety. Maybe don't go for date night at the same place. Maybe introduce different types of things like that. And also, even if you are driven by variety, there will be times that you are maxed out and you just want to sit down and chill out. I remember when I was traveling around Australia with a good friend of mine, Sophia, who might be watching. If you are, hello Sophia. We traveled around Australia together in 2010, and we had the most amazing adventures and variety, and met new people and saw new things and took all these photos and had these amazing experiences. But because I'm driven by certainty, there was points in time where I just wanted to sit and be still. And I just kind of, yeah, we knew roughly our itinerary, and we had full belief that whatever came up on the way, we would be able to deal with it. So we had a healthy way of dealing with certainty. But there were still times when there was just too much variety. And I just wanted to sit and read a book and drink my coffee and be really boring and predictable for a day or two before I could take any more adventure. So remember, this is not just for you travelers out there. So there is, if you are going in towards a new career or something like that, make sure that you're actually consciously choosing something that will help you fulfill this need on a regular basis. Make sure that you have a job that will allow variety, brainstorming, different tasks on different days. I mean, for someone who has a high need for variety, any factory style work, whether it's a lot about producing output and the same type of output on a regular basis, whether that's reporting, manufacturing, doing the same task every day. I know some people who are excellent executive assistants and very, very organized, but they feel like it's slowly killing their soul, for example, because they're not getting enough variety in their tasks. And I'm not saying you couldn't have a lot of variety as an admin or as executive assistant, but if this is you and you're starting to look at your career, you need to think about how you're going to get this need met, because the need itself is not going to go away. It's a driver for you. So you've probably already in your life, if this is you, if you have a high need for variety, you've probably already been striving towards this in ways that you haven't really considered and labeled until now. So before you move on to any of the other videos, I'd encourage you to really pause here and ask yourself, is this need for variety something that I have in me? Or if this is not a need for you, who in your surroundings are driven by variety and adventure? Do you know someone who constantly needs that thrill and that thing? And does this help you understand them a bit better? If you're really curious to find out more, hop on my website, thebridgecoaching.com.au, go to the resource section and check out the free download of the 6 core needs cheat sheet, where you can actually go through an exercise yourself and or with a friend or partner or family member and work out what your drivers are. And I hope to see you in video number 3, where we're going to talk about significance, which is another really important one. See you soon.